throw the Facebook group up on the other side.
Cool.
And if we see any, we can just address them as they come in. But all right, everybody, we are live on YouTube, not on Facebook today, as we found out of the new rules with Facebook API for Facebook groups specifically. So a little introduction. This is Karen Hite. I first learned of her through Matt Decino. They do a mastermind together, and so I'll let Karen tell you more about herself and her and her husband's businesses that they have together.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much, Jenna, for having me. And
Yeah.
for everybody that's listening, hi, I'm a fellow agency owner as well. So we're in the same boat with pain and struggles and the joy of the agency. But my husband and I started our agency about 6 years ago. We started as a white label, moved into a franchise model, and recently just added a direct branch to that. And so we have been through pretty much like everything you can probably be when it comes to the agency space, serving clients, serving agencies, working through the operations. We've been very blessed in this journey, and we've gotten through, just a lot of like growth and just things that we never thought, that we were able to achieve when we first started the agency. He's in charge of he's the CEO of the agency, and I run more of our educational programs, like our events happening. So, for example, we have one event coming up in July in Cancun, the Commitment Summit. So you probably maybe have seen some ads about that or heard some of the speakers that we have in there. High level is constantly there. So I know that a lot of us are focused on how to leverage SaaS. Chase Buckner is going to come and speak this time. And so anyways, just great stuff all around. But my focus, I think, in life is just how can I help and empower other agencies to have that clarity and get to that next step and do the things that they want to do based on their goals. And I just think about, when we first started, I wish I had somebody that was like supporting us in that journey to make it a little bit easier. But we get to be that for other people. And so like, that's sort of like what my mission is. And I am also really interested in helping in creating more jobs in Latin America. I'm obviously biased because I'm from there. I'm from Nicaragua originally. And so those are some of the main missions that we have right now.
Yeah, I love watching you guys. You guys are so positive and uplifting to watch, and it's been fun to see you guys move from there, and now you're in the States. Can you tell us a little bit more about that journey?
Yes. Oh my gosh, that has been such a change for us. So we recently moved in December to Arkansas. So from all places, like I think everybody, every time I say like, oh, we moved to the U.S., we're at Arkansas. Like what? Why? Everyone's like, why do you move there? We actually graduated from here, and we love it actually. Like I've had so much fun. I wish the weather was a lot warmer than it is. It's kind of like gray right now, so that's like my main objection. When it comes to living in the U.S. We only have sunny and rainy weather. Like we don't have like all the seasons, and so I get to experience that right now, which is a blessing. But we moved fully on December 9th, and so it has been like about 4 months here. Our kids, we like
Oh, that's
we just
it. It's only been
completely.
4 months.
I know it feels like forever, but it's been only 4 months. We were about to finish our first semester, I guess, with the kids'
Wow.
school, and so a lot of change, but all good. Yeah, we're really excited and grateful to be here.
That's great. So you guys are operating your franchises, and then we're local is what you guys also own.
Yeah,
That's the new one that you guys started as the challenge? Is that right?
correct. So the
Okay.
reason why we moved here was because we started this challenge on how to get to 10K in profits using a new, and there's more coming from that, by the way. So like if you haven't tuned into our Facebook group of the agency experiment that we have, the undercover agency, then you definitely need to do that. But that's the whole point is how can we go into our locations? Like we're very, how a lot of people like, oh, you should focus on this vertical or niche, just niche down as a whole. I think for us, because we started as a white label, we never really felt the need of like niching down when it comes to like like outreach, because obviously we're serving agencies. But I think it's great. It's great to niche down if you're like outsource, like you're outbound generating, trying to connect with people. Like if you have a clear message, it's a lot easier, right? um but one of the ways that we, I guess, are niching down is just like focusing on the local businesses. And so our focus has been coming into a new city for us because we've lived in Nicaragua for 11 years. So like we're pretty much new, even though he's from here. But coming here and just finding ways to serve business owners, whether it's through a SaaS option, right? And so like we're local is connected to high level. It's like a really cool tool to like just make sure that you're adding value to businesses
Yes.
without having it. And I don't know if you have seen the lives, but you know how when we're talking about lead generation, I think like that's the main question all agencies have. Like, how do I generate consistency? How can I go and connect with people without having to sound salesy? Well, we're local is that solution, right? Like we're able
Yeah.
to create an opportunity to add value to those business owners by creating articles, like talking about them, showing them what it's possible when they can focus more on the digital side of the marketing instead of just word of mouth. And so opening that, I think it's going to be really great. We're actually going to be doing our first mini event here in town, and so we're really excited about that. And we're going to be sharing more about like what that site look like, how can other agencies do this type of like mini events for businesses, and so like giving you guys everything we do as usual. So yeah, so tune in for that in the Undercover Agency Facebook group that we have going on.
Yeah, that's great. I
Yep.
love that idea that JC talked about,
Yeah.
like just doing an article about the business, and
Yeah.
then like you're highlighting the business and what a good thing for them.
Yeah.
And then you get to talk about yourself a little bit at the end.
Yeah. I mean, it's the perfect. I think it's just like it's taking the podcast strategy to the next level, right? Just because
Mhm.
in person is so much more powerful. And so if you can have people that you're connecting with, I mean, you want to find out about everything that's happening in their business. How do they start? Like this is pretty much your like discovery call that you would have, you know, for the business, except you're doing it live in person. You're building those relationships and you're
Yeah.
getting to yeah, just like be able to like build that relationship in a I think an easier way. It's a lot easier to come to a business and say, "Hey, look at this article. Look how it's performing. Hey, we're like, you know, like we're reaching all these people. They're like clicking. They're like interested about like who you are." And then based on this, like, what else are you doing with marketing? Can I help you? You know, take this to the next level. And so it's just like a way smoother conversation than going into somebody's like, okay, like your website sucks, or you know, like
Yeah.
I see you're like suck at digital marketing. I can help you with that. It's just again, like we are all about how can we create a positive impact. And I think just those that starts from like how you first start those conversations because everybody else can go and do the same strategy, but only you can be the media if you
Mhm.
use we're local, right? And so like that's the power of we're local. Yeah.
That's so great.
Yeah.
And tell us more about Commitment Summit. Like what do you guys do there?
Yeah. So, you know, I think just like you, Jenna, you know, we're people that love to connect with people. Otherwise, why would you be doing this with three kids under 3 years old? You know, like it's just, I mean, like we could be doing all sorts of other things. That's for sure, right? But I think JC and I were the same way. We started our agency and we quickly figured out that a lot of the information that's out there and yesterday I made a post about this just because you know how much pressure there is in our industry of like getting to seven figures,
Mhm.
making sure that you're in the Inc. 5,000 list, like building your team and all this, you know, like all this like metrics that are not really the definition of success. And some people don't have seven figures as their definition of success, right? And so for us, you know, as we were getting into the space, you know, we came from a product perspective. And so like it was later on in life that we like really got into like the mastermind and the groups and being, you know, in a community of other agency owners. And so we realized that a lot of the information that was out there was not actually pointing to the direction whether that we wanted, you know, or to the reality because theory is
Mhm.
great, but when you apply that to the day to day, knowing that you have kids, you know, knowing that you have like families, like you have like you might be part of a community, you know, you go to church, whatever you do, you know, it's just like
Mhm.
you have a life outside of that, and so you cannot be hustling, you know, like just like 24/7. Um, we just decided, hey, we need to like get out there and like talk to people that have done it and have done it in the way that we want to do it. That have
Mhm.
done it and kept their families and kept their marriage and you know like
Yeah.
are doing those things right. And so we decided just to like, hey, let's. I'm sure that there's other people out there that probably need the same thing and are looking for the same thing and are looking for a community like that. And so
Mhm.
we created the Commitment Summit about 2 years ago. This is our third year We've loved doing it every year. It has been an amazing opportunity to connect with some of the coolest speakers that I don't think I could have met outside of that. It has given us so much opportunity to connect also with amazing agency owners that we just get to call friends now, that we get to do business with. I was just looking at one of our testimonials that I just posted today, from just like reminiscing on the event, and just how cool is it that people came to an event, met somebody in person that they have been chatting with probably for a while, but now there's like a real friendship. Now they can call each other for like, hey, I need this. You know anybody that can do this? Because that's really the power that we get to have in this type of
Yeah.
communities, right? Of
Yeah.
being able to solve problems, and hey, I'm sharing this with you, like hopefully this can take you to the next level, and just reciprocating that. And so that's what TCS really is all about, just a moment. We get to do it in a very nice way because we go to Cancun this year. Like we go to like a nice luxury resort, and we spend great time together, and like it's an amazing speaker. Like the places that we go to normally, well, this one and every other place that we've been is all inclusive. And so I love food, and so, like, that's just, like, that's a highlight for me, just I love, like, unlimited ice cream and all the good stuff, and so it's just, like, adding fun to this
Yeah.
journey and learning and connecting while at it. And so, yeah, we just get to do that, and so the next one is in July 7 to 11.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah, yeah.
So do you usually take your kids with?
Yes, so that's actually one of the things that we have loved to do, for as long as we can, and that's why we do it
Yeah.
in the summers too, so our kids
Mhm.
can come and join. They're normally on stage at a certain point, like saying hi, like they're used to it, and so
Yeah.
they're not scared of that. But our attendees also bring their families or their spouses. I know like a lot of them bring like the grandmas to like help them out with the kids. The hotel also has a daycare.
Oh, wow, that's cool.
Facility, and so, yeah, that allows some of the parents that wanna come with kids that are older than 3 years old. And, yeah, they have just, like, I mean, just they do all activities. I put my kids in there as well, because my mom will come and help me, but sometimes grandma needs a break as well, and so, like, she'll put them in there and just, like, watch them, and you get to enjoy it. So, yeah, like, we welcome families, especially, like, just having marriages as well. Sometimes it's really hard for your spouse, if it's not in business, to understand what you're doing. Why are you online so much? Why are you doing this lives? Why are you chatting
Yeah.
with people? But when they get to meet others, and like we're all sharing the stories, it makes it a lot more fun and easier for our families, I think, to understand what we're doing. Sometimes it's hard to explain.
Yeah, for sure. I love that.
Yeah.
Well, is there anything cool you wanna share, like, with the listeners about sales,
Yeah.
retention, and prospecting?
Yeah, absolutely. So we just had our mastermind. I was telling you about 2 weeks ago in Dallas, and the topic was lead gen. How do we get to create that consistency? The funny thing I think it was that I got, at least from our mastermind, like the people that are attending are at normally at a million plus in terms of their agencies. And you
Mhm.
would think that that question of like, how do I get consistency and lead, stops at a certain point before you hit to $1 million. Like
Yeah.
you would think that, right? Yet that's not the case. Like we were having conversations in there with people, and I think just like new levels, new devils, is the saying in English. And I think it's so true for our business, right? At the
Yes.
end of the day, in the beginning, you only need like 2 sales a month, and you're like, I'm pretty set with life. If I do that and if I continue with the retention that I have. But as we continue to grow and scale our business, churn is something that it's not unavoidable, right? Like like you cannot
Right.
avoid that happening. Like whether it's like business happen, or you messed up, because guess what? You're not perfect. Your agency is what, like 6 years, 10 years, I don't know, however many years it is, especially in the beginning, like you might make mistakes. And so a client might leave, or you haven't really focused, even though your product's amazing, you haven't focused on creating the right communication, with them, so they feel that you're taking care of them. Because,
Yeah.
one of the reasons people are able to get that client from you, right? And so we're just talking about that. And I think I would like to share with your group, some of the main takeaways that I got as a agency owner, but also, somebody that's helping other agencies, and some of the breakthroughs that we had. And it's actually from Matt's presentation. I think like that I got the most. Like I've been talking about it, for the last 2 weeks. So if you're talking to Matt, recently or whatever, just like shout out to Matt, because he did an amazing
Yeah.
job with that session.
Yeah, he's
Um,
such a great teacher.
He's such a great teacher.
Yeah.
So some of the things that he was uncovering for us, because his session was focused on the evergreen funnel. I think one of the reasons why we lose well, we don't get to have that consistency with clients is because we're not consistent with what we're putting out there. We might get really excited, one week, and we're like putting all this content, and I'm
Yeah.
like, hey, I'm Karen, and I can help you with this, and blah blah blah. Here's my solution, and blah blah blah. And then another week, something happened in my life, and then I'm like, I cannot, I don't have energy. It's kind of like the gym,
Yeah.
right? Like we get super excited in January, and then by the second week, we're like, okay, I'll go like twice, and then I didn't go. This week, I didn't go to the gym, so I am like the first one to say that that happens all the time. But it happens in business too, right? And so
Yeah.
what he was sharing is just like, okay, first off, we need to understand what we're putting out there so we can get to that evergreen where you only do, a piece of content, something once, and it continues to produce day after day
Mhm.
because you're focusing on leveraging it for your organic and your paid options. And so, one of the things that I thought was like really important before we can get into that consistency of like getting on the camera and like, okay, I'm gonna do this like 4 hours of content that people are gonna cut and all this stuff. Um, what are we speaking about? I think it's the first thing. I think that's the first obstacle most business owners, most agency owners have when it comes to being online and taking action.
Mhm.
Because one of the things that he was asking us, and I try to like internalize that, and I feel like we all should too ask ourselves this question. Do you believe that you're adding value, that you're solving a problem for somebody out there with your services? Do you believe that
Right.
you're doing that? Right. And
Yeah.
so, and people are like, yeah, yeah, yeah. And then he was like, do you, no, like for real, do you actually believe that? Because if you don't believe that, then that's the first problem that we have when it comes to lead generation. You cannot
Mhm.
pretend to believe something that you do not believe, and people can tell if you do not believe that.
Oh,
But the
yeah.
second thing is, right, if you do believe that, then you have even a bigger responsibility to show up. And if you do believe in that, like that should be reflected in the way that you speak to people, the way that you connect with people, the way that you show up in a room. And if I really believe that I'm changing, in my case, agency owners lives, I should be more confident about, like just going out there and coming to this type of opportunities of sharing with other people and like, hey, this is what I've learned and I can share that with you and add value to you.
Mhm.
And same thing for us as agency owners. If we believe like SaaS, this product that we have can actually change business owners' lives, through automation, why are we not sharing more about that? So
Yeah.
breaking through your own personal belief, and then with that, if we do believe that and we are going to take action, what are some of the things that our customers have to believe before they become a customer? And I thought that was really interesting because we have all talked about, social media and creating pieces of content. And okay, like if you're being asked these questions, make sure that you create content for those questions, right? Because that makes you like be the brand and authority and all this good stuff. But what are the pre-beliefs that a business owner has to have before they can become a client of yours? And so like we were just like talking about that, and so like there are a few, right? So like they might need to believe that you're knowledgeable, right? So like if I'm
Mhm.
the agency owner, I'm working with a roofer, they need to know that I know their step by steps, that like how they're like putting this in place and how they're servicing clients. They need to believe that I'm knowledgeable, that I'm trustworthy, that I can make it easy for them to do marketing, that I have all the tools. So like if they need to believe that, because once they believe that, they will 100% give you their card, right? Like if I
Mhm.
believe that you're the solution for the problem that I have, why wouldn't I take action on that? And so just
Mhm.
going through that, and that's, I think like that is a main game changer when it comes to creating pieces of content, because now it's not about responding questions on like how to use your chatbot, but you're being more strategic about how you're presenting even that piece of content online. You're
Mhm.
presenting it as like, I'm going to make this so easy for you to understand how to do this. And you're going to like, if it's if you want them to believe that you are making things easier, you're saving them times, like these are the two steps that you need to make this happen. And so like that
Mhm.
has to do with even your hooks and all of that. So
Yeah.
anyways, this might be like long story short, but like just how you're building all those like pre-beliefs in your content, and then through that, you're selecting, okay, what pieces of content can I create a webinar on or a master class on? Like what you define, okay, do I want to do this piece of content as a PDF, or like what are your lead magnets. And we also threw another session in our mastermind focus on like, okay, what are the lead magnets and what are the client magnets, and this probably are the ones that we really need to focus on, because I could have a bunch of leads that if I'm an affiliate, I can sell them something or I can share something and I can make money, right? 100% you
Mhm.
can do that. You're building your email list like equally, like it's very, very important. But those client magnets are the ones that are going to really tell a person and are going to be able to like filter for you as a business owner that, okay, that person is a lot closer for you to like put them into that funnel. For
Mhm.
example, if I'm a social media agency, if I teach them, like how to like create I don't know, like how do you create TikTok videos? Okay, awesome, perfect. But if I were to create an SOP that they can send to their production team, like that, like where is your client at before they can make the decision? For in my case, for example, if I'm an agency owner and I believe that they need to know that I have the operational knowledge, for them to run their business, because I've grown my own business to 150 teammates, to like all these agencies that we've been able to support, then my content should focus on not only building that authority, but also talking to the client where they are at. I'm going to do, for example, in the coming months, an exit my agency webinar, right? Because my clients that are at $1 million plus, once they hit $1 million, they're looking at like, okay, what's next? What happens after this as an agency?
Mhm.
Should I continue to grow this to like three, five, four, whatever million? Or, like, do I want to continue doing this for the long
Right.
run? Those are the questions that those people are asking themselves. And I'm not doing content for like how to learn how to do PPC, because that I'm never going to get them. That educational road or path is going to be a lot further away. And so just going and when it comes to the lead generation, a lot of the times we're focusing on sharing information, but not really addressing the problems that are the right audience that we need have.
Yeah.
And so working through that, I think it's just so important. And then from that, you take the piece of content that you test out, and you have to do several testings. I was talking about like this year we ran a webinar that nobody showed up for. Like I didn't have anybody show up for. I think maybe like we had like two people download it or 10 people, I don't know. But in terms of comparing that to other webinars that we have, launched, like where I have like 150, 200 people like download submitting, to like be part of it, it was a total failure. And so the interesting part of like, okay, that hook, I know the content was valuable because we had tested it before, but the hook wasn't right. And so if your
Mhm.
hook isn't right, like don't even waste time
Yeah.
creating those presentations that like it's just going to be a waste of time. So just going through that, I think it's so important. But my encouragement to anybody that's listening right now, or just agency owners that are really looking to focus on how do I scale my business, how do I grow, how can I continue to um, do this, like I mean, at the end of the day, we're doing it for a reason, right? We're doing it for our families, we're doing it for ourselves, for whatever goals we have set, and that needs to be super clear for you, so you have the energy to continue
Mhm.
to test and do things every day, and like wake up feeling like I can do this. I want to do this. But number two, like understanding really like what are those pre-beliefs that the right audience, or your prospects need to have before they can jump on becoming a client, and just speaking to that, just focusing on those pre-beliefs and continue to like give them the ammo to say, I believe that this person is the person I should be investing my money with every single month. So I thought that was just like a different mindset or a shift in terms of mindset when it comes to the social media branding and all the good stuff. And so hopefully that helps somebody like rethink a little bit of how you're positioning yourself and how you're looking at your content too.
Yeah, I think that's perfect. And another thing Matt taught me early on was like most people don't even know you exist. Like,
Yeah,
and like just the way he drills that into people's minds, I think is just really powerful. Like, and that's so true. Like,
yeah,
you might have the best services in the world, but if people don't know you exist because you don't
yeah,
talk about it much,
yeah,
and then that goes back to the belief that you were talking about earlier that he
yep,
talked about. If you really believe you have good services, you should be talking about it to everybody.
yep,
Like, you want to provide good services for people so their business of whatever their business is, they're able to grow. And
yep,
that's one thing that I really love about agency life is as I'm able to serve them, they're able to serve more. And so it's just a kind of a neat dynamic.
I love that. I think there's so much opportunity and so many people I think that want to help, agencies right now, just like
Mhm.
from really good intentions. There's people as well, like
Yeah, yeah,
they
yeah.
want to sell. But there's a lot of people out there. And so just finding, the right communities like this one, that you're in, guys, if you're listening, like Jenna wants to help you, she's sharing constantly topics. I was just like looking at, the content that you're sharing in the group. And so just how cool it is that you have people that wanna help and you can
Mhm.
get advice and help from and I'm here too, if you need anything and if you're looking to, hey, how do I grow my agency? Like happy to support in any way that I can.
Yeah, appreciate that. Thanks, Karen, for coming on today. Sure appreciate
Yeah,
your time.
yeah,
And if anybody wants to learn more about the Commitment Summit, Karen is in our
yeah,
group now. So drop any questions that you have, and I'm sure she'd love to answer them. And can't wait to see what you guys do with World Local. I think it was neat for me to hear. I didn't know the
yeah.
backstory that you guys were a white label agency first.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
So
I'm
that's
super
cool.
excited for that. It's There's more stuff happening. I know JC's
Yeah.
working on that, and so we're gonna be
Has that been a
sharing.
huge shift for you guys, like, going from, like, white label to, like, now
Yeah,
serving local clients?
100%. But and especially because, it's kinda like you're restarting an agency
Yeah.
really, right? Like, I mean, like, from and we still, like, have the franchise model, so, like, that's really great. We serve our agencies, but putting yourself out there, just, like, connecting with business owners and, we've always, like, been really, like, just taking a lot of pride in, like, doing the product side of the business, and now we get to do the lead gen and branding and marketing, and so just the strategic part of that, I think it's really cool, and, yeah, we're enjoying it. It's a new challenge that I think we're just excited to have.
Do you have any pointers, just knowing you guys and, like, watching you guys over the last little bit on, and I don't wanna say work-life balance, but it sounds like you
Yeah,
guys do so much. Like, how do you all, like,
yeah.
balance it and, like, handle it besides, like, good VAs, like, and good teams? And obviously you have, I'm I don't wanna paint a picture that I know everything's great, but, like, I guess any pointers that you might have, if you could highlight that for a second maybe for us. Did I lose you?
Yeah.
Oh, no, did I lose you?
I think, some days are right. I don't know, here my internet, I don't know, it has been hello?
I think you maybe just cut up.
Can you hear can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. Sorry about that.
That's okay.
But we're good now? You hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I don't know what happened. I think it's just like, yeah, something happened there.
Yeah, like
Um,
froze.
yeah, okay. Well, what I was sharing is like, some days are easier than others, I think. It really is a day by day type of thing. And I think in our case, I feel like you build your capacity for things in life, right? Like when you first started your business, you couldn't imagine like handling like 10 clients, and then you got the 10 clients, and now you're like, oh my goodness, like how can I handle like more clients? And similar things in life, like before you graduated high school, you were like super scared about what college was going to be, and then you were super scared about what your first job was going to be, and then leaving that job. So like I feel like we all the time as humans are building our capacity to handle new things, and I think it part of the opportunities that we have, in terms of managing different opportunities and things like that. First off, like how blessed are we that we get to have, all of this opportunities happening. But I think we need to use our discernment as well of like, okay, what are the things based on the priorities that we have in life? And so for us, what has been really helpful, we were just chatting about this, like we could be in, a way different place. And like when you think about your like big goals, like you have dreams, right? Like we still have dreams as well of like, you know, a lot of crazy things, mainly on JC side. I'm more of like the doer, integrator, like how we're gonna make this happen.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, our priorities are our family. It's our family is having, just a balanced, if that is even a word, life. finding harmony. Some weeks, we're traveling a lot, but like we really define, okay, like what are the seasons that we're going to be in, and we try to be in a lot of communication, and have a great support system to be able to accomplish that, because without that, obviously, it's not possible. Now, our kids are small, and so like us going on a trip, like, okay, they might forget about it, like as I think as they get older, they realize, they have different problems. It's not the boo boo that happened, in the playground, is a deeper, connection. So I think every stage is different with kids, but there's some flexibility, I think, in certain ages. And I think every parent is different. So like just doing things that work for you and your family, and just making sure that you're focused on that priority. But for us, it has been really great to have a team, that supports us, and that, is able to like sort of like be in the same journey with us as well. And so that has been really encouraging too for us.
Yeah, that's great.
Mhm. Yeah.
Well, thanks again for coming on today, Karen. We sure appreciate it. And we will probably be live again next Tuesday at about the same time, 2 p.m. Eastern. Thanks so much, everybody.
Perfect. Thank you. Thank you, Jenna.
Mhm.
Have a great day.
You too.
Bye.